first step you're going to do in making your bread, so that's after you've fed your starter is doubled in size. And when I make my bread, I make what's called a pre-ferment, which is where you take your fed starter, some of the flour that's going to be in your final dough, and most of the water, and you make kind of this soupy slurry, and you let that ferment for at least 7 hours all the way. You can let it ferment overnight too. And then after that, you mix the rest of your dough ingredients. You don't have to do it that way. You can just mix up the dough and let that proof, but I've tried it both ways and I kind of like this method better. So it's personal choice. So the pre-ferment has 100 grams of fed starter. So I'm gonna measure that out, and I'm going to, I think it's about a cup of starter, but I'm gonna put it in a cup, measure to see about how much it is for those of you that don't have a scale. One little tip, starter is very sticky, so if you're having to measure it out with a cup measure, you might spray it with a little bit of spray just to make it come out a little bit easier. So I'm going to measure out 100 grams of fed starter. Oh, there we go. We're way over. I was wrong. It's not even close to a cup. Let's see. There's 100 grams of starter. It looks like approximately a half a cup. So that's going to go in my bowl. Now we want 150 grams of flour. This can be all-purpose or bread flour. But if you have bread flour, I would recommend using that. Again, I'm going to measure out how much it is in volume since you don't have a scale. 150 grams of flour. Oop, we're not going to fit in the cup here. Okay, let's do this. Cup is 134, and again, this is my flour, so it will be much less exact measuring it by volume. So I need another 16 grams of flour. So let's call it about a cup and an eighth, 1 heaping cup, or 150 grams. Now we need 285 grams of water, 285. $288, that's close enough. Okay, so in volume, that is about a cup and a quarter, if you're doing that by volume. We're gonna dump that in. Now we're just gonna kind of whisk up this slurry. You can see it's really wet, but this is the beginning of our dough. So in about 7 hours, we'll add the rest of the ingredients to make a dough. But for now, I'm just going to cover this with a cloth and let it start to ferment. When it's ready, it'll be nice and frothy and bubbly. And again, 7 hours to overnight.